In Sangam Yug, if we waste our time just eating and sleeping, then that is a big loss. Yes, and see, one thing is not doing pap karma. Okay, so being pure, not going into activities of lust and anger, and not being greedy, or not being, not harming somebody through our ego. On that is one aspect. But Baba says that that is not all. Not doing pap karma is okay. But then we have to, this Sangam Yug that Baba has given us is not just for us to stop doing pap karma, but this is the time to create the account which we will reap in the future. So Baba says, this is the time to create your fortune. And for that, I'm giving you this study. And just like, people say in the world that knowledge is the source of income. So Baba says, I'm giving you this knowledge, this study, which will help you earn an income or create karmic credit, which you can reap for the next 21 births. And Baba says that this study that I am teaching you consists of 4 subjects. Knowing the truth, yes, doing yoga. Third is imbibing the, whatever Baba tells us to imbibe. So having a practical lifestyle which is according to Srimad. And 4th thing Baba says is seva. So Baba says, I educate you about what is the truth. I educate you about how to have yoga with me. I educate you about what are the dharana, or what is expected of you in terms of your body, mind and wealth. How do you inculcate the knowledge there? And 4th thing is, how do you serve? So seva is very important to create punya karma. And then Baba says, in seva also you have to take care to do seva with humility. So be very wary of this consciousness of I am doing it creeping in. Okay, so these are the things that Baba is telling us to do. Now you see, this is new knowledge, and new knowledge of the truth, new knowledge of yoga, new knowledge of dharana, new knowledge of seva. So first thing is understanding properly what Baba is directing us or giving us Srimad to do. And then second thing is doing it. So both the subjects are very important, because some don't understand properly and some understand everything but don't do anything. So in both the cases, if we don't understand properly, we won't do what Baba's direction is. And then if we understand but don't do also, we won't be able to create a fortune for ourselves. So first thing is knowledge. So you see, Baba says that you are a soul. It is your mind, your buddhi, your sanskar, and you have taken 84 births. And among those 84 births, half the cycle you were in the day and half the cycle you were in night. And you have created sanskars for yourself. And now is the time that Baba has come, and now it is confluence age, and we have to go back home and come to our new world. Now this is new knowledge. Did you ever think about I'm a soul and I'm in the 84th birth, and these things we have never thought about. Now you see that every piece of knowledge has to be thought about, experimented with, and then it starts reflecting in our attitude and action. Yes, so let's say, uh, you know, uh, earlier you didn't have knowledge about maybe, in the world that you can get vitamin D if you go and, absorb the morning sun. Okay, if you didn't have that knowledge earlier, then you didn't take advantage of going out and absorbing sunlight. But now, if you have the knowledge, you have to think about it, right? And only when you think about, how there is deficiency and then you need to do something for ourselves, pep yourself up, then you will be able to go and soak in that, sunlight and take advantage of the sun being there. Similarly, Baba says that I am giving you new knowledge, that you are a soul, you have your mind, you have your buddhi. Every soul is different, everybody has different sanskars. And then I'm giving you also the knowledge that now you have access to Baba. It is the only time in the whole cycle that you are connected with the seed Baba. And this is the time to absorb everything from Baba, which will last you and serve you for the whole next cycle. Now we get this knowledge, but the knowledge has to be thought about. You have to think about it. And only when you think about knowledge very deeply, think about the truth very deeply in silence, which is called Vichar Sagar Manthan. If you churn on the truth very deeply, only then will that truth become part of your consciousness. And when something becomes part of your consciousness, only then it will reflect in your attitude and action. So Baba says, I give you the knowledge of the soul, I give you the knowledge of the Supreme Soul, I give you the knowledge of the home, I give you the knowledge of the beginning, middle and end of the drama. But whether you act in the consciousness of the soul or God or time, so you have to be soul conscious, you have to be conscious of Baba's presence, and you have to be conscious of the time you are in. Because you see that Baba says this is the only time to create your fortune. But are we really conscious about the time? Because you see, in the Murli, Baba says, Ye vakt ja raha hai, wo vakt aa raha hai. Karna hai jo bhi kar le, ye vakt ja raha hai. So this time is flying, and Baba says that if you don't do it now, it's now or never. But we are not that time conscious also, because although we get the knowledge that we are in the end of our 84th birth and this is the time when we create the fortune for the next 21 births, we don't pay attention to that knowledge. And why? Because we don't churn it enough and it is not part of our consciousness. So Baba says, you have to spend your time and thought in churning knowledge. Now just ask yourself, are you keeping your time and thought engaged in churning knowledge? And if not, what are you doing with it? So, it is said that if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. Now, you see that we are getting increasingly, sorrows and troubles and despair is increasing in the world. Now, why is that increasing? Because we are thinking about the old world. We are spending our time and thought in churning about matters of the old world. And sometimes when children come to the center, they try to tell us how much the old world has become degraded. So they'll give us some news about the bad that's happening in the world. But I always tell them there's no point in discussing how bad the world is or what's going wrong, because this is an old world and Baba has given us the knowledge that don't think about the events, the behaviors, the acts of humans of this old world, because they don't mean anything. You are thinking about the actions of those who are not in control of themselves. So even if you think about it too much, it will only make you lose control over yourself. Otherwise, there's nothing you can really do about it. So Baba says, do you spend a lot of time and thought thinking about these new points of knowledge that Baba gives us? And when you think about it, you start building consciousness according to what Baba is directing us to. So Baba says, don't just eat and sleep and just do the work that you do in Kali Yuga. Don't just keep yourself busy in that. So study the Murli and think about the points of the Murli. Think about the points of soul, Baba, drama. And when you think about it, your consciousness shifts. Second thing Baba teaches us is remember God. Yes, remember Baba. Now you see that in the world also most people have some bhakti. So when I take courses, I always ask everyone, what is your relationship with God, or how do you connect with God? So you see, everybody takes out some time or the other, maybe to read a scripture, maybe to do some puja, maybe to chant some prayer, or maybe to do some kirtan, bhajan, or maybe in different religions there are different practices. Or these days, if you ask young people also who come first time to the center, they will tell you that we just call out to God whenever there is trouble. Or I talk to God like my father or my mother, because yesterday there was this girl and she had come and she said that my father died, my Lokik father. I lost my Lokik father when I was 6 years of age. So my mother took me to the temple and she said that this is your father, the one standing, the one whose idol is before you, and this is your father, and you talk to your father every time you have trouble. And she said that I always connect mentally with God, and I have always received something or the other from God, maybe power, direction, something, help I keep getting from God. So you see, everybody in the world has, and I'm sure each of us also, we even when we were not in Gyan, we had some method through which we connected to God, right? But there was, that method was very limited, or that method was based on a very limited idea of Baba, and that method was sometimes flawed also. And then that method was very sporadic, like once in a day you do puja, or once in a day you visit the temple, or once in a day you talk to God or chant something. It was very sporadic, it was very, sometimes it was flawed, and it was also based on a very limited understanding of Baba. But now Baba himself comes and reveals himself to us. And Baba tells us that, I'm not just, so maybe you just thought that I'm here to help you when you're in trouble. But I'm not here to just help you when you're in trouble, but I am your everything. I'm your father, mother, teacher. So I'm here to teach you. I'm here for you. And it is your duty to always be in my remembrance, just like you are always in the remembrance of your Lokik parents. You have to be in the remembrance of your Parlokik father. And Baba says, I'm not just the one who saves you, I'm the one who gives you knowledge, purity, peace, love, joy, bliss, power. So Baba says, whenever you connect with me, you can absorb whatever you want. You want to cleanse yourself, take purity from me. You want love, you take it from me. So Baba says, I'm giving you everything, and I'm also giving you, the love of all relationships. I'm here like a father, I'm here like a mother, and practically also, I'm here giving you the inheritance. So when you remember me like a father, you think about your father who is creating heaven for you. And so Baba says, you have to remember me like I am. And Baba says that sometimes in bhakti you remembered me through rituals and through some chanting, through some puja bhakti, but you don't need all of that. You just need to turn your attention to me and remember me. And if you want to remember me, if you want to connect with me, then you also have to pay a lot of attention to the Murli and the directions I give you, because I've come practically and I've become your teacher and guide through the Murli. So Baba says that this is yoga. So you have to pay a lot of attention to be always in yoga, always in remembrance of Baba. And Baba says remembrance of me is not a one-time ritual in a day. And even those who think that, only remembering Baba in Amrit Vela is fine. No, Baba says beginning is Amrit Vela, so morning shows the day. First you get up at the right time and then you see my face first and you remember me first, and then all through the day you have to be a karm yogi. You have to be in my remembrance. So Baba says pay very good attention to this second subject also, because don't think that just churning on knowledge is enough or just remembering is enough. You have to have a combination of all the four subjects. So we first is churning on knowledge, first is reading knowledge, reading the Murli every day, understanding what Baba is trying to say, and then churning on that because it's new knowledge. It's not part of our awareness and attitude, so churning on it. And then second is remembering Baba as he is. And Baba says one most important aspect of remembrance is when you remember me, you have to be soul conscious first. Because if your intellect's yoga is connected with the old world, then it is definitely not connected with me. And Baba has given us this law that या तो दिल में पाप होगा या बाप होगा, which means if your buddhi yoga is with the world, with pap, then there will be no bap in your yoga. So Baba says that you have to withdraw your attention from everyone and everything and turn it to me and remember me. And when you are a karm yogi, then you remember me like the one whose directions on which you are working. So you remember me like the Karan Karavanhar, the one on whose directions you're working. So this is about yoga. And then the third subject that Baba tells us to practice is purity. So Baba says that purity is important, and Baba says in the world people adopt this method of, so even for Gyan people do, yes, they read scriptures or books, but that's not Gyan. And Baba says reading will not help. Churning is important, and you have to churn on true knowledge. Similarly, remembering God the traditional way is not helping. Knowing Baba as he is and then connecting with him like he asks us to do is important. Then third thing is being pure. Now you see that in the world also, somewhere, people have figured out that purity is important. And this is why there is a whole dharma, there is a whole path called the Sannyas Marg, which has been created because sannyasis chose to be pure. And but the method they adopted to be pure is leave the household. Yes, so Baba says that the method they adopted is leave the household physically, right? Just leave the house and the family members and everything and go and stay away. But Baba has given us the knowledge that I am a soul and I am affected by everything outside because of my man and buddhi, right? So when I focus my attention on something and think about it, only then that thing, that situation or that person affects me. So Baba says that you could be a sannyasi, you could go to the jungle, you could leave the household physically, but if you're still thinking about the family members, if you're still thinking about the household, then that's an act of impurity. Because still, Baba is not on your mind. Yes, or even if sannyasis think about Brahma, then Brahma is not on their mind. What is on their mind? The ones who he left. So Baba says, physically leaving something is not the method to be pure, because you are not affected by something because it's physically there. You are affected by something, you are made impure by something, influenced by something, because you are focusing your attention on it and because you are thinking about it. So it is an aspect of your man and buddhi. And so Baba says that your dharana is that you live in the household, but you are completely detached from the body, the people, the places, the things, everything that you are operating with. And what does complete detachment means? You don't think extra about anyone or anything. You see, you behave like a trustee. You are a trustee of this body. So if there is an illness in the body, you, the soul, take the body to the hospital, get it treated. But don't think about it. Don't worry about it. And extra thinking is when you think about things you can't control, things you can't do anything about. So just think about what you can do and do it. And extra thinking you just leave. So Baba says this is the kind of dharana you have to have. And then Baba says that also because you want to be uninfluenced by the world while living in the world. So one method is that you unplug your man and buddhi from the world, but there are other ways also through which everything of the old world, the impurity of the old world starts affecting you. And how is that? It is through the sense organs. Now you see that the sense organs are very connected to the soul because through the mind. Yes, so Baba says that whatever you eat, listen, see, whatever you do through the physical senses also has an impact on the soul. So Baba says this is why you have to have attention on purity. So whatever you see, hear, eat has to be pure, and you do not engage with the world, with the physical body. You do not engage in the world based on lust or anger or ego or attachment or greed. You don't speak words which come from lust or anger, or you don't engage in lustful activity. So Baba says this is also important for purity, because you see that the world is impure, and when you engage with your body or with your ears or your eyes or your mind, or you engage with the mouth with the world, then all the impurity from that will start entering you. So touch, smell, sight, yes, hearing, everything, food has to be paid attention to, because all that will start affecting the soul. So pay very good attention to keeping that pure, and the best method is to keep it under the canopy of Srimad. So just eat what's allowed, see what's allowed, hear what's allowed to us, and not engage with the body in any lustful activity. So Baba says this is important, this is the dharana that Baba asks us to do. And then Baba says, and you see that Baba also tells us that the sannyasis, they go to the, they go to the jungle, but they beg and eat. And when they beg and eat, they eat food prepared by souls who are, engaging in lust and anger and everything. And because they don't understand that karmic account, so although they sacrifice their home for purity, they still are not able to finish their sins, because this new account gets created with impure souls through food. So you understand how karmic accounts with souls are created when we engage with any of the senses or with the mind with the impure world. So this is the third thing that Baba tells us to do. Pay very good attention to purity. And then fourth Baba tells us is seva. And Baba says every soul has to do seva. And seva is the method to create punya karma. And in the world also you see that, people pay a lot of attention to seva. So people go to temples and gurdwaras and mosques and they offer seva. But Baba says, if you are serving the impure souls, so if your body, mind and wealth is being invested to serve those who are leading a life of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, then instead of that seva giving you a punya ka khata, it is giving you more pap ka khata. And that's very important to understand. And I'll tell you a very small story about it. So there was this person in a village, and so there was this criminal, and he was caught by the police, and then the police was looking for his antecedents. So where is he from, and where is his village, and where has he come from, and they got some clues, and then they went to the village from which that boy had come. And when they reached the village, they asked, so does this boy belong to this village? So they said yes. So then he said, what can you tell about this boy? So the villagers said that this boy, we don't know much about this boy, but this boy was from this village and he was an orphan, and then he had an accident, and in that accident he lost his feet, and the sarpanch of the village, he took the responsibility of getting him operated, and he paid for the expenses. And then this person, because our sarpanch is a very great soul, and there is a big statue of the sarpanch on the chaupal of the village also, because the sarpanch is held in high esteem because of what he did for the boy. And then when the police went to interrogate the sarpanch, they asked him, you gave him the resources, the feet, you made sure that he has legs and he walks again, but you didn't give him the understanding and the knowledge and the guidance of where he should walk to. So you didn't teach him where to walk to. You gave him the legs, but you didn't tell him where to walk to. And this is very important to understand, because you see that you give somebody food, you give somebody clothes, you give somebody, education, you give somebody something. But if you don't teach them values, virtues, you don't teach them, what is the purpose of life, you don't teach them where to invest their thought, time, energy, then all that which you are giving you, which will become a resource to do further pap karma. So this is why Baba says in this Sangam Yoga, we children are directed to not donate our body, mind and wealth to souls who are on the path of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, but donate our body, mind and wealth in Yajna Seva. And Yajna Seva is the seva done by Baba through Madhuban, through the centers, and this seva is done to awaken the souls to leave these 5 vices and do good karma. So Baba says that you have to invest your body, mind and wealth in this seva and give and support the yajna, so that the seva of creating Brahmins from Shudras and deities from Brahmins is done properly. And Baba says this seva everyone has to do, because if you want to have a position in heaven, you have to participate in the creation of heaven. And seva is the method of creation of the heavenly world. And Baba says also you have to take very good care that you never have the thought that I am doing seva, or I am, I am the one spending, or my money is being invested, or because see that whenever you think that I am doing it, then pride hath a fall, so you stop doing what good karma you were doing. And second is, whatever you are doing is creating your fortune, because if you donate a brick in the creation of heaven, then you become eligible for getting a position in heaven. But if you disillusion yourself with these thoughts that I am doing it and Baba can't do it without me, then you are the one who will stop creating your fortune. So Baba says, A, everybody has to do seva, and B, everybody should be very wary that you don't get caught up in this consciousness of I when you're doing seva. So this is new knowledge, and Baba says, I give you the knowledge of truth, I give you the knowledge of yoga, of dharana, of seva, and every child must pay attention to all the 4 subjects of study and not waste their time in eating and sleeping in Sangam Yoga. Okay, Om Shanti.